Joining me is Canadian media personality and successful entrepreneur Erica Ehm. She's an author, she's a motivator, she's a in-demand speaker, and she's here today to talk about her study, the latest study. And it's a Canadian study, right, Erica?
Yeah. Oh, yes.
Yeah. So it was a study of over 700 women. Is that correct?
Yes. So I run a marketing agency. It's a digital marketing agency. It's called Co. We've been around for 15 years. And my agency is a content creator for moms by moms, sort of an interesting company. And this year, obviously, mothers have been incredibly impacted by COVID. We wanted to know how much. I mean, we'd heard about it because we are constantly sort of in the social conversation with moms, but we wanted to have a definitive answer. And so we sent out our survey to 700 moms. And what we found was really upsetting and important for us to pay attention to. The first really important stat was that 7% of moms said that they are doing well. Now, when you think
Mm,
about it, what that says is 93% of moms are not doing well right now because of COVID, because of lockdown, because of anxiety, because of worry, health, finances, lack of time on their own. It's been an incredibly challenging time. Some people are saying that it's setting women back 2 decades in terms of them losing jobs and being forced to go back into the home and be the main caregiver again. So women are really bearing the brunt of the domestic chores. Uh, a lot of dads are certainly there for their families. This is not an anti-man rant. It just seems like we are falling back into old habits that we were sort of getting out of, where men and women were equal in the homes, and COVID set that back.
hmm And with because women, like, we mothers want to do it all, right? And self-care is so important, and that loses it, right? And also too, like, it was shopping. Was that a lot of shopping? 66%, is that correct? 75% of social media, like, it's breaking down of where where moms are doing things like more consuming junk food, and because it's very stressful. And
Yeah, it's interesting. 63% of moms said that they don't have any spare time or time for themselves. This is a challenge, because no wonder 68% of moms said their mental health is concerning these days. If we don't have time to recalibrate and regenerate in order to care for our families, we're burning out. And when you look at what moms are doing in their spare time, those who have some spare time, some women are exercising, but the majority of women are watching TV. Now I'm there, I'm binging, I'm streaming, but it also ties into this increase in junk food. I think 73% of moms say that they're eating more junk food. 46%, I think, of moms are drinking more alcohol. I'm in there. I'm the same, because in a way, what else is there to do while you're in lockdown? I'm just hoping that as vaccines start to get into arms and we are able to uh, worry less, get out more, start socializing, start having more of a normal life, that these issues will start to fade.
yes, and it's good, it's okay to be vulnerable. It's a space where you can talk about. And if you don't have the survey like you've done, I mean, it needs to be open, it needs to be talked about, and you are the voice. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I do believe that women are being very vocal about this. And there are people like me who have the attention of the media, who have the agency, who have the platform, who can speak on behalf of moms. And it's really important for employers to hear this. employers need to understand that they have to shift their expectations in terms of productivity, because women are working from home while they're
Yes.
managing their children. There is no way that the amount of work that they were doing in the office can be replicated at home these days. Also, their focus is not entirely on their jobs. Again, employers need to understand this. So this is something that HR departments are going to have to work with, and also consider that that's something that's going to be probably ongoing for a while as we tend to shift more to a work from home scenario. A lot of companies are going to let people still work from home. And when that happens, you have to take into consideration that there are other people in the home, and there are challenges and distractions, etc., like a phone going off at all times. And this is now the new state of working.
Hmm. And the thing too is that, I mean, exercise is so important, but if you don't have time to exercise, I mean, it's just it's like a double sword. You need to have self care, like I mentioned before. And so, Erica, was there like an age group that is more affected with women?
So that's a really good question. What we did is we broke it down more from a psychographic perspective. So rather than someone's age, we looked at it from the perspective of moms of toddlers, school age, and teenagers. And what we were really surprised to find was that moms were all equally stressed. There wasn't
Mm,
really a difference in how moms were reacting. And I thought that there would be huge discrepancies. For example, with toddlers, having a toddler at home stuck inside, I think would have been incredibly challenging. But parents are anxious because they have to keep their eyes on them all the time. And then parents of teens are having the exact opposite problem, where they're worried about their teens because they're not coming out of their rooms. So,
oh,
right, it's
yes.
the opposite problem, but there's still the same level of anxiety from a parent's perspective.
And also too, the space that you're living in too, you could be living in a one bedroom, but there's not a lot of space because mom is working at home, so she needs to create a healthy space for her work. Meanwhile, there's the dog, there's the there's just so much going on, the phone ringing and etc. So it's just having that mindful eating, creating a healthy space. If you have a small, like a one bedroom, it's like, what tips can you give to moms right now, the viewers who are watching this?
Um, So the tips that I would give are the tips that I would have given even before COVID, which is
Mm,
it's not a mom's responsibility to maintain the home in its entirety. That if you are in a relationship, so there are many women who are single moms, so this is not for them. But
mhm,
if you are in a partnership, marriage, you need to make sure that your family, in particular your partner, is doing his part or her part, depending on who you're talking to. Also, to get the kids involved in some way and start
mhm.
getting them involved in some responsibility, taking care of the home. Because when you give people jobs and they do them, it makes them feel really great. So find activities or little tasks that your kids can do, uh, and not to take the martyr perspective where it is not all up to you. There are other people in your homes. And there's also, once we start to open up a little bit, you can also start to rely on your friends. So your friends can take your kids for a little while, and then you could take their kids, and you give each other some time and some space. I also think it's important that women tell their friends, tell their family, tell their partners when they're having a hard time. There's nothing embarrassing or shameful about it. In fact, it's weird if you're not having a hard time these days.
Yes.
So I think it's important to be candid about how you're feeling, and to know that when you ask for help, people will help, but you need to be okay with asking for help and admitting that you're in over your head.
Yes. And with education too, right? I've noticed wrote a story on education, like with moms or parents trying to help with the homework is a huge stress. I
Yes, and once again, hopefully, once this lockdown, when I use the term locked, I mean more the pandemic eases
yes.
off and kids can be back in school and this virtual learning eases off and more kids are back in classrooms, it's going to be much easier. Look, it's always hard for parents managing their kids' education, the relationship with the teachers, getting homework done. That's an ongoing pressure for parents. Um, this was crazy because to ask kids to sit still when they're young, well, ask us to sit still when we're like zoomed out, is is incredibly difficult. And the fact of the matter is the teachers are having a hard time keeping their kids engaged, right? This has
Hmm,
never been done before. This is not the
yes.
way learning really should be. It should be more of an interactive in-person experience. You can learn from home, but you're going to have someone in the room with you. So I think this is going to end and we will get back to more of a normal scenario. But my heart goes out to every parent, and there's men who are, struggling as well, who are just trying to get through the day.
Yes. And Erica, will you be doing another survey, like a follow-up?
Yeah, we just need to wait until
Tell us.
something's different, right?
Yes.
Until there are much more vaccines that have been put in arms, and then we can take everyone's temperature again and see how people are feeling.
Yeah. So, Erica, is there anything else you'd like to add? I mean, you're so multi-talented. I mean, you have award-winning digital agency. You have created space for mom and so forth.
Well, I just advise people to come to the website. It's ymc.ca, and you can subscribe to the newsletter and just be a part of our community. We've got a really vibrant Facebook community, and we're constantly talking about these kinds of unfiltered conversations. So we try and talk about what it's really like for moms, and for moms to know that there are no topics that we won't talk about.
Yes, and just it's okay to be vulnerable. Just reach out for help.
Absolutely, always, always.
Thank you very much for your time, Erica. I really
You're
enjoyed
welcome.
speaking with you, and I'm
And
glad you did the survey.
thank you.
Okay, bye for now, and thank you.
Thank you. Thanks so much. Bye.
Okay, bye.